Hello everyone, it's Chantel from Crochantel, and welcome to this tutorial on how to crochet any size of an amigurumi pumpkin. If you'd like the PDF version of this pattern, please check out the description for more details. And the materials that you'll need include a 4.5mm crochet hook, some scissors, a stitch marker, I use a bobby pin, as well as a darning needle. You'll also need super bulky yarn in orange and brown, as well as some polyfill stuffing. And please pause to read the terminology and abbreviations I'll be using in this tutorial. So to start, we are going to take our orange yarn, and we are going to create a magic ring. And then for row 1, we are going to work 8 single crochets into the magic ring. I personally like to close off my magic rings before working single crochets into them, as I find this helps prevent the yarn from snapping. And then for row 2, we are just going to increase a total of 8 times around, and by the end of the row, you should have a total of 16 stitches. "16 stitches around is the smallest I would recommend having your pumpkin, so please reference the list on the screen for how to increase your pumpkin to any size up to 80 stitches around. For this tutorial, and for this pumpkin, I am going to increase mine to 32 stitches around. So that means for row 3, I will have to do a single crochet and then an increase for a total of 8 times, and by the end of the row, I will have a total of 24 stitches. This is what your work should look like so far. And then for row 4, I am just going to do 2 single crochets and then an increase for a total of 8 times, and by the end of the row, I should have a total of 32 stitches. And that is how big I'd like my pumpkin to be, so this will be my last row of increasing. And once again, here's the chart on how to increase your pumpkin to any size you'd like. But since I have finished increasing, I am now just going to do straight rows of single crochet. So I'm going to do a total of 6 rows, rows 5 to 10, of just single crochet around for a total of 32 stitches per row. And this is what your work should look like if you are following my pattern. And then included on the screen, I have a list of how to decrease from any size of up to 80 stitches around back down to 8. And so for me, since I am going from 32 to 24 stitches around, I will do 2 single crochets and then a decrease for a total of 8 times. So by the end of the row, I will have a total of 24 stitches. And this is what it should look like. Then getting on to the next row, I need to decrease to 16 stitches around. So to do that, I will be doing a single crochet and then a decrease for a total of 8 times. So by the end of the row, I can have a total of 16 stitches. And if you made your pumpkin greater than 48 stitches around, now would be the time to color change to your brown for the stem. But if your pumpkin is less than 48 stitches around, then keep working with the orange to decreasing to 8 stitches around. Now I'm just finishing up stuffing the pumpkin, and I am going to work on my last row of using orange. I'm going to do a total of 8 decreases around. And at the end of the row, I will color change to brown. Once again, if your pumpkin is greater than 48 stitches around, I would recommend doing this row in brown. for the stem, and then working single crochets around after. But since my pumpkin is 32 stitches around, I am going to color change to brown now. Now we're going to cut our orange yarn, then just tie a knot between the two short tails to secure the yarn. We're just going to finish up stuffing. Then we are going to get started on the stem. So if you did 8 decreases around in orange, you're just going to single crochet around, but if your pumpkin is less than 48 stitches around, follow the instructions on the screen. You are going to do 4 decreases around, so then you have 4 stitches, and then for the next 2 rows, you are just going to single crochet around for a total of 4 stitches per row. And then to fasten off, you're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch. Then to close the opening, attach your brown yarn tail to your darning needle and weave through the front loops only of the remaining 4 stitches. Then pull tight to close the opening, tie a knot, and then you're going to weave in your ends. So now that we have finished the pumpkin, we are going to start on the shaping of it. So attaching your orange yarn to your needle, you are going to insert your needle through row 1 of the pumpkin to the top next to the stem. And then you are going to insert your needle back into the bottom or row 1 of the pumpkin, and on the opposite side of the stem, you are going to pull your yarn through. As you can see, as I pull the yarn tighter, it creates a little bump on the side of the pumpkin. Now we're going to repeat that for the other side. We want to have the line parallel. Then we will divide each side into 3 sections, so we will have a total of 6 bumps on the pumpkin. So once again, inserting your hook through the bottom of the pumpkin, up to the stem, about 1/3 of the way between the 2 horizontal lines, and you will pull the yarn tight to create the bump. You're just going to continue that process, bring the yarn down, insert your hook through the bottom of the pumpkin, and go 1/3 over from the stem. Pull the yarn tight to create the bump. Once again, bring it down. Now we are going to work on the other side and divide the other side into 3 sections. So, inserting through the bottom, pulling the yarn tight, and wrapping the yarn over. Inserting your hook back through from the bottom to the top next to the stem, 1/3 away from the last bump. Pulling the yarn tight, and then pulling it over. And since this is our last bump, all you're going to do is take the 2 tails of yarn. You're going to create a very tight knot, so then you can create that extra bump for the pumpkin while also securing the yarn tails. After creating the tight knot, you're just going to cut your yarn ends and weave in your ends. And this is what your finished pumpkin should look like. Alongside this pumpkin, I made 2 other ones in different sizes so you can see. I made this pumpkin 40 stitches around in only 4 rows of straight single crochet, and for this one it is 24 stitches around with a total of 8 rows of single crochet. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give this video a like and consider subscribing for more content such as this. Let me know in the comments if you ended up making your own pumpkin. Once again, if you would like the PDF version of this pattern, please check out the description for more details. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.